Joining me, Anjali Bhimani, my friend and a great friend to REBURN, is going to be joining me. She is also the author of I Am Fun Sized, You Can Be Too, and so are you. Fun Sized, oh, there she is, the author of this book. And she's be right here, joining me right now. Right now. Okay. There she is.
Hi. Are we doing, and you know what? I didn't bring my headphones with me. Should I have done that? That's okay. I think we're fine here.
I have a lot of humans in this home.
This is true. I don't have a lot of humans in this home, but the one other human we have in this home has a very powerful voice, so I'm going to shut the door. He's a big bear.
Yeah.
He's a big bear.
I have also one of those who does some temp tracks from time to time, and I can hear him very loudly in the other room.
There's some light. Let there be light. Jesus.
I was just showing this book
that
you wrote that I love. Yes, and I was just reading the part about cultivating wonder.
Oh, it's so, that's all thanks to Ariana Huffington. Sorry about my foot. Hang on, we're getting there. We're getting there, kids. She's not a filmmaker. And I thought it was, she's just an actress.
Okay. I thought it was such a great, I love it. I cultivate wonder for sure. But I also feel like
you do it in your writing. You do it beautifully in your writing.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's such a good embodiment of who you are and how my interactions with you are. You really embrace like joy and enthusiasm, and it's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Well, I'm just consistently tickled about the fact that we finally got to reunite after all these years, thanks to REBURN. And I could not be more grateful that you reached out when you did, because it's such a cool project. And all of the people involved, and you and Jess, like these powerful women, and it's just it's just a good excuse to reunite with someone that I highly admired back when we were in school.
Oh, well, same to you. I just put the link for the Kickstarter in the chat, and
great.
For REBURN.
If you can pin it, right? Can you pin it?
Oh, pin it.
So go.
How do I do that? I'll put it in again.
Go back down.
I'll just put it in again. Okay, I just do.
Once you see it, then press on it.
I'm trying.
There you go. So press on it, and it should give you the option to pin. Here, let me see if I can do it for you. Let me, because it's not my chat. Yeah, it won't let me because it's not my chat. Well, anyway,
if I take it off here,
you should go to REBURN's Kickstarter. You can also just go to Kickstarter and search REBURN, and you'll find the Kickstarter. Or you can go to my Twitter or Alison's Twitter. I mean, we've got links all over the place.
Yes, there are so many links, and I'll put it on the story when I post this. We'll put the link in the story. It wouldn't let me pin it.
You know, the thing also, when you pin the comment, it's not a clickable link anyway. And when it's a long link, it doesn't necessarily help people, so don't worry about it.
Okay, well, thank you for all of your expertise.
All of you all should totally go look up REBURN.
Because on there, Anjali, I have show and tell. Anjali is inspired a character in REBURN, Getaway Ring Light.
How crazy is that?
Yes, and here is Anjali as Reverence, who appears, her first appearance is in issue 3, which is what we're doing the Kickstarter for right now. And she's here.
Yep. Hi, Jessica.
She's amazing, her first appearance. And also we still have some Symmetra fan art by Super Risu, Vivian.
Who also did the illustrations for the book. So you see, we like to work with people we like over and over and over
again. And it
Nikki
was such
Tompkins. We have a superstar from the voiceover gaming world here. Nicole Tompkins is here, everybody. It's very, very, very cool to have her. So yes, let's talk about issues 3 and 4. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited for your first appearance. You do some cool things.
I mean, I'm just really grateful for the fact that your artist put me in clothes I actually have worn in my real life. I was like, I owned that shirt. I remember that shirt from back when I was in Chicago, and I wear those boots all the time. How did she know? She's like psychic.
I think she might have done a little research.
and see me in lots of boots all the time because I'm too short to wear flats anywhere but the gym.
Yes, she knew that you could still do all of these amazing things in 3-inch heels, which
Because my
I
feet are
couldn't do.
permanently pointed like a Barbie doll now,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why.
I would just fall on my face. So you have a special skill set. You have many special skill sets. You are a multi-hyphenate. Many
I feel
hyphens.
like all of us these days, though, for the most part, I mean, it's funny because people look at multi-hyphenates like it can only necessarily be your profession that are multi-hyphenates, but every single one of us is wearing like 20 hats every time in our life. And moms are automatically multi-hyphenates because they are like, it's like being in the theater and the mom is the stage manager and the costume designer and the set designer. Like she does everything. She's all of the things. So you are a multi-hyphenate as well. And then and you're writing on top of it all. And it's just I'm in awe of the things that moms can actually accomplish, because
I have gotten very good at doing bite-sized amount of work, which I know you're good at too. It's like, it's amazing if you just a little every day, you do actually get something done, which when I was younger, I was like, oh, I need an hour, I need 2 hours, I need 3 hours to do this. Now I'm like, okay, 20 minutes.
I do think that one of the many things I see that my mom friends are really good at that I could take a page out of their book from is that they're so good at like, I'm going to do the thing no matter what. I'm not going to think about how I'm not going to worry about how good it is. I'm just going to do it to the best of my ability and then move on, because I don't have time for worry. You worry about your kids and that's about it. Like everything else is got to get it done, get it done, get it done. And I spend so much time second guessing and worrying in life in general, whether it's about creating art or choices that I make. And I think when you have your focus on another being and their well-being, there's just no time for that. And it's a very admirable trait that I think most parents have, moms especially, but good parents in general.
That's very kind. I for me, it's definitely grounding, having people that you are more concerned with than yourself. And, you know, I mean, it's been helpful for me to turn the focus off myself and
I think it's always
my issues or whatever. But somebody, I think it was Margaret Atwood, someone shared this quote with me today, that if I worried about every word being perfect, I wouldn't write a word. I'm butchering it, but you know.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. I think I wrote the first draft of this book in 3 weeks. And because I was like, just write it, just get it out. And we didn't do that much editing. And then I realized, I was like, oh, it was pretty good the first round. Okay.
It's like hanging out with you. The book, and that's what she says in the beginning, the woman whose name I'm not going to come up with, who writes the first bit, she says it's like hanging out with you, and it really is. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's like.
That was my hope. Yeah. And now we have REBURN, which is like hanging out with superheroes.
It's not like hanging out with me. It's definitely like hanging out with, Elise, the artist, said in an interview we did recently, therapy would be more fun with fire powers. And I thought that was a perfect, sentiment, because our main character, May, has lots of stuff to deal with.
She has a lot to process. There's a lot to unpack there.
There is. But she has fire powers, and her children do, and it's powers. And it's fun to unpack things that are complicated in a way that is also entertaining. That's the goal for me, because I can go dark. I got no trouble going dark. So I want to make it also entertaining while I think
it's one of my favorite things, probably my favorite thing, period, about science fiction and fantasy fiction, but especially science fiction seems to do this really well. And I put this comic book in that category, in the sense that because it is removed enough from our reality, we can explore things that we experience in our reality very, very deeply without completely offending or shutting people off. Because innately, sometimes when we have to face really difficult truths about ourselves or about life or whatever, politics, the state of the world, when we have to face them in full reality, a lot of times we just have to shut down to be able to take it, because it's so much. But if you're taking it in an allegorical form, or if you're taking it in a science fiction story, then you're able to talk about those issues and present them in a way that we can actually dive deeper without necessarily putting people off. I don't even mean offending people, because it's not about that. It's just about making it easier for people to take it in so that they can then be affected by it rather than immediately defensive of it. And I think it's a very powerful and positively insidious way.
I think that's very well put.
I couldn't find a better word for insidious, and I was like, well, that's a terrible word, so it sounds awful. But like, it just like kind of sneaks under the radar there, and
that's
gets
the hope, right?
Yeah.
And I think I agree, and I think that's really well put. We were talking about also like it makes all these things that are kind of implicit in our present world. We can talk about them; they become explicit. You know, like there's a situation where someone's in an abusive relationship, but it can become much more, the control of that relationship can become more explicit. Like we can talk about drugs or brainwashing or different things that may control someone, which I think also happens now. People do get indoctrinated in an abusive 100%. Relationship. But it's not explicit in the way where it's like, I'm getting an injection, I'm going to control you. So I think there's more sort of room for people to debate.
Yes.
Is this what's really happening? Where in this, it's really what's happening.
Yeah. And I think it's at the same time, what's really wonderful is that when you are dealing with heroes like this, who are dealing with very real, very fallible conditions and whatnot, with their own fallacies and their own issues. When you have a hero like that you can identify with and with their journey, then when they become empowered, you can feel that in yourself and take that out into the world. And it's really it's one of the reasons I grew up loving mythology. I grew up loving comic books. I learned all of my Indian history and mythology from these comic books called Amar Chitra Kathas. And I think there's just something so wonderful about being able to have these heroes in your world that symbolize, or that what's the word I'm looking for? That are like this, that are just like an avatar of yourself. They're just a part of you that you can then take out into the world because you read that story, or you read that comic, or you saw that show, or you played that game.
Well, and I think you and I are both big fans of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it
wasn't until recent years that I really heard about the history of how she was created. I didn't even know that there was a whole history there of the psychiatrist who had written, who had wanted to create a female superhero and an empowered woman for that, and his wife inspired it. And like, so cool that was a thing. And when we were growing up, that it was pretty much her or Supergirl. That's all we had. And I was a brunette, so I had to lean on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, same.
And now we have so many great, heroes, heroines, superheroines in the world that we can start to explore the uniqueness of each one of them instead of one of them having to represent all of us.
Speaking of wonderful superheroes, I'm very excited to see Miss Marvel because I actually read the books before even it was announced as a show. I really love, I love Kamala Khan. I think she's a great character. I think all of the I don't know if they're doing the antigen mist thing in the show. I have a feeling they might not be doing that. But that whole...
I can't say anything.
I know.
We know how that goes.
But I watched the trailer obviously multiple times, and I'm super excited, and my kids are really excited, and that you're a part of that, and that there's a superhero that looks like her and that has her background. It's just it's so exciting, and I've really appreciated these Marvel shows, like the way they've opened up the universe to so many different looking and identifying characters. It's been really inspiring. So
it's been pretty fantastic, and it's just, I feel like it's just a continuation of this this movement towards skipping over representation and going straight into inclusion.
Yeah.
Because representation is the step before inclusion, I think. We think of like, oh, well, there has to be, one of each, or there has to be like, there has to be, we have that with Overwatch. People are like, well, where's my hero? Where's the hero from my country? Or where's, and what ends up happening then is it becomes like Noah's Ark, where you're like, you have to do it like this, rather than it becoming, well, which one do you identify with the most and why? Because it doesn't have to be the color of your skin. It doesn't have to be your background. Right. Ms. Marvel is so spectacular for so many levels because she's a teenager coming into her power, coming into her womanhood, connecting with her roots, but all with tradition and with the current world. She's someone who's exploring the joys of teenagerdom and the hell of teenagerdom. That's a technical term, teenagerdom. and at the same time, you know, the future of the world is on her shoulders. So like there's so much to identify with. The feeling of coming into your own, the not knowing who you are and then discovering who you are, family, friend, like it's just, there's so much. There's so much value to be gleaned there from that. And I think people all around the world of all different shapes and sizes, of all different backgrounds, of all different religions, really will find something to identify with in this show, because that comic book, I mean, because that story, the books are already so rich.
She's so relatable. I mean, I really, and I think that speaking of making something explicit, I think becoming a superhero is a great metaphor for becoming a grown-up, you know? So it's like that same feel. I mean, I think many times I certainly battled with this when I was going through puberty and like feeling this sense of responsibility and this feeling of what am I going to do with my life? And I need to be serious and I need to make a difference. And I, you know, imagine that times infinite if you're a superhero.
Exactly.
And so and she's also just very lovable. She's a really endearing character.
The one thing that I can tell you all 100% clearly is that the gal who is playing Miss Marvel, Iman Delani, is so lovable.
Yeah, you can tell from the trailer.
Just wonderful. Yeah. I mean, if you watch her reaction video to the trailer, it's just
I have to do that.
Oh, she's just the sweetest. By the way, since we didn't pin the link, everybody,
I'll put it in the chat again.
We're hanging out here not just because we love each other and because we love Ms. Marvel and other things, but also because the issue 3 and 4 of REBURN has started its Kickstarter. Alyson wrote it. Elise McCall, thank you. I almost called her Elise Hall, which is so wrong. Elise McCall did the art. This character right here, Reverence, shows up in
issue 3.
Episode 3, issue 3. See, I can't get outside. Anyway, check out the REBURN Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter and look up REBURN, and you'll be able to find it. REBURN.
Yes.
The first 2 issues were dope, and I can't wait for 3 and 4. It's going to be fun. And there's a lot of really fun stuff that you guys are offering in all the tiers, too.
Yes. And Anjali is offering a meet and greet with all of these things signed by her. Stuff. And also, Anjali is just wonderful. Yeah. So, as many of you may know, Anjali and I went to college and we're in the same acting class. And
so we got to know each other real well.
Yeah, so we know each other. Yeah.
Tokyo One Overwatch. I so can't wait for you to read REBURN.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be it's gonna be fun. And so again, just like we were saying about Ms. Marvel and about other things, even if it's not the main character that you identify with, there are so many unique and complex and interesting characters to connect with. It doesn't always have to be the main superhero who is the person who saves the world. There are so many other very complex characters along the way, and really good stories continue to develop the plot lines as they go of all of those other characters too. And I think you'll find that same feeling with REBURN as well.
I agree. And the main character is a mom like me. The main character is a mom like me, but she has kids. So there's entry points for, we have a lot of young adult fans because they relate to the kids. And I also relate to the kids. I still relate to the kids because we're all still growing up.
Anyone who is in a creative field, maybe not anyone, but many of us who are in a creative field still sort of don't completely give over to the fact that we are adults. I mean, we understand it, like we're not in denial, but there's definitely this feeling like, am I really a grown-up or am I just an adult? I think I'm an adult, but I'm definitely not a grown-up. And nobody in this house behaves like a grown-up. Neither me, nor my husband, nor our dog. No. None of us do. It's a silly household. So yeah, I don't know about grown-ups, but identifying with the kids is fun. it's very, very fun
And
stuff.
how is it going with you? I just threw something. How's it going? We've talked about Ms. Marvel. If you want to tell me anything else, like about the Moon Knight premiere, which we have
Oh,
like
you
appointment
guys!
television for
Oh
Moon
my
Knight.
God, you guys! I
Can't
cannot
wait.
even. Okay, I'm not in Moon Knight. I make no money for saying this about Moon Knight. Every single human being should watch Moon.
I'm so excited.
It's so good, and when you watch it, I highly recommend you like do it theater style in your home. Turn off your phone, turn down the lights, like actually have at least the first 2 episodes, like do that. Although I think they do come out weekly, so I don't have to wait and binge it.
Hawkeye they did too when they launched, so I don't know if Moon Knight's
so maybe they will.
I don't know if they will. I think they did that with Hawkeye because the first one was kind of slow, so they did 2 at the beginning because they wanted to get hooked.
I saw the first. We saw the first 2 episodes at the.
Yes, you did.
I mean, you know, when you cast Oscar Isaac in anything, that he's gonna be freaking awesome. But this is it takes the superhero genre to a whole other level of just craziness. It's so good. Craziness in a good way, like intensity. And
I love that about the shows. They explore all these different. It doesn't feel. I mean, I love the movies, and in fact, we are rewatching all of them with our youngest child, and we have one left.
You are a better person than I. I had to ask a friend of mine. Okay, give me the top 3 that I haven't seen that I have to watch because I can't. I wanted to catch up as much as possible, but it's a lot.
If you have questions, you can just bring them my way because I am well versed.
I definitely will be talking to you.
And I've watched the ones that I was like, but what's fun about the TV shows is they do go like much deeper, and you get to
they have the time to, right? They have several episodes. It's like in a comic series like REBURN, you have time to develop these characters over time. I always talk about movies versus television as like being I hope there are no kids in the audience, or if there are, then you may already know what this is about. But it's like having a movie is like having the greatest one night stand ever. And a TV show is like having a really wonderful, deep relationship because you see these characters and talk to them and get deep with them every single week. You've got all this time to get to know them and care about them. And while that one night stand may be something that you never forget, there's a depth to being able to come back to the characters in a TV show that is really, really special.
I like that analogy. I've been married for almost 20 years, so I'm drawing on memory.
You get
the movie.
Yeah.
Part of the analogy. But yes, I think they're fun. They're so fun, and they surprise me. My youngest just watched WandaVision, and I mean, you can't do that in a movie, you know. No. So it was.
And I love that each series that they've created has its completely own feel.
Yeah,
it's a completely different world that they have created. You know, it's a really they just all have their own vibe to them.
Yes,
Moon Knight is dark, so prepare yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has to be if you've read Moon Knight. He's not a real like giggle character.
No, he's not a giggle fest.
No,
he's not the feel good show of the century.
No,
no, but it's really it's even just 2 episodes in, it's wildly satisfying.
And I'm sure it's gorgeous. They're all so gorgeous. Yeah,
gorgeous. It's so good. The production is. I mean, like I can't even.
I enjoy them. I'm excited. I'm always excited.
Me too.
I'm glad they exist.
I'm excited for the movies too because now the movies are all continuations as well. It feels like so they're finding that depth there as well, which I appreciate. What is your favorite thing that you are excited for people to experience about issues 3 and 4?
Oh, it's about me. I thought you were going to ask me my favorite Marvel movie because I get asked that regularly around here. What am I the most excited about in issues 3 and 4? Is that what the question was?
Yeah.
There is a double page spread in issue 4 that I am absolutely in love with. If there's anyone here who reads Black Widow, they are doing amazing things with the current run of Black Widow, and I highly recommend it if you're not reading it. And Elena Casagrande pretty much always has a double page spread in there, and I was like, oh, we got to do something like that. And Elise just knocked it out of the park. I mean, she is amazingly talented artist, and I love that double page spread. narratively, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens too. Great reveals that I'm not gonna reveal.
No
And
spoilers.
I think it shows like how big the world is and how many different directions we could go from here. And I'm excited to tell those stories and tell more about Reverence. And I mean, you know, like for me, the sky's the limit. You can do spinoffs, you can continue REBURN. Like there is so much there to mine. And that's the benefit of working on something for a long time, is that there is so much you can do with it. You know, it's delayed gratification, but then you feel like, wow, look at all this that we have built. And I'm really proud of what we've built. And I love issues 1 and 2, but I mean, 3 and 4, they're better. They're great.
Well,
I mean,
you know, you have to, it's like the pilot, like you have to set up
yeah.
the story. So there's so much work to be done in those first two issues.
Yeah.
And so, so now that you've settled in, you've created the world, everyone kind of knows all the characters or all the main characters. Now you can really dive into the nitty gritty.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, Marvel, they've done this amazing thing, obviously. And I think they get credit for it. But as a writer, watching the way they've woven all these stories together, it's off the charts impressive what they've done. And you know, I would attempt to do something on a smaller scale, but like that you plant something and it gets paid off, and that you meet somebody and they, you know.
When you say on a smaller scale, it makes it sound like, I mean, it is technically on a smaller scale, but let's not diminish that Marvel started with what they started with.
Yes.
You know, it didn't start as this giant,
right,
you know, a beautiful, epic thing. And I'm always amazed by sci-fi writers and comic book writers' ability to create a whole world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially one that contains things that are so different from ours. I mean, a lot of things that are not so different, and then a lot of things that you're like, oh wow, I had never imagined. What if that was possible?
Yeah,
you know,
and it's such a joy creating it with Elise. Like to write something. I'm sure you went through something similar with Vivian, with just even your sketches with your book. You know, like you have something in here and you write it down or you say it out loud, and then it comes back and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. And you're like, how did you, in so short a time, what is this dark magic? It's so, one of my greatest joys as a collaborator in general is not having to be good at everything, because you just have to surround yourself with people who are way better than you are at everything except for one thing you need to be really good at. And so for everyone, there is this beautiful teamwork that enables everyone to rise higher, to all, you know, for rising tide raises all boats and all that, for everyone to create something even better, because no one person is dependent. All things are not dependent on one person.
I agree. Collaboration is the best thing. And I mean, it feeds my soul, and it got me through this pandemic. And I mean, I did text a friend who I love and admire recently, and I was like, I guess we gotta like work together on something, because then we'll see each other.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's
we'll
the
talk.
Only way, like that honestly is that has been my main inspiration to go from being someone who waits around for the job to come to her, and someone who produces or creates the jobs or finds ways or connects people, is because the only way I really see my friends is if I'm working with them. And my work is so fun. Why wouldn't we want to do this together? Like, I get paid to play games sometimes.
You do. You're living the dream.
I'm living my dream from like when I was 8 years old. I'm like, I was playing D&D at age 8, and now I'm playing D&D with some of the greatest human beings in my life. You know, and I'm married to a rock star. I mean, it could sound more. But oh, good. I'm glad Tokyo won.
Yes, thank you.
Follow REBURN on Instagram for sure. REBURN comic.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think that's the best. One of my other greatest inspirations is I know some of the most talented people that I've ever like seen on the planet, and I want to work with them, and I want them to be working. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, it's not always a meritocracy. So you need people to believe in you, and you need champions around you. And I said this to my aunties and uncles when I was younger because they'd be like, you need to do a movie with Tom Cruise. And I'd be like, okay, I'll get right on that. But more importantly, no, I'm not going to probably not going to do a movie with Tom Cruise. I'm going to end up doing a movie with all my friends because we're all going to be coming up together and we know each other and we get excited and we create things together. And then that is going to be the thing that blows up. And that's really fun when you get to collaborate with friends like you or doing shows with Zach Braff or other people we went to school with or whatever, like getting to do things with people that we knew were awesome already.
So we need to get you on Seth Meyers' show.
Okay.
So
sure.
Were you guys together?
That's another step. Sorry.
Did you overlap on Meow or not?
Not on Meow.
Okay.
We both were floor mates at Willard freshman year.
Yeah.
And I know Josh. In fact, I just ran into Josh a few weeks ago. And we've been trying to connect.
Both lovely humans.
And I saw Seth backstage.
Seth and Josh.
I saw Seth backstage when my husband's band played on the Seth Meyers show.
Oh, you did?
So we got to say hi back then, which was lovely.
Well, I'm just waiting to see you on there because
I am too.
That seems appropriate. Yeah,
sure. Let's make that happen. I'm waiting to see me on there when my husband's band is playing. Bam!
For synergy.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Let's get everybody together. It's a family show.
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to leave you, and but I have to.
Yeah.
It's time for us to go. Hey,
well, thank you for your time.
Of course, and everyone who doesn't know Alyson, you should know Alyson. Follow her by Alyson Shelton. Follow REBURN Comic. Check out the Kickstarter. That's the new character, Reverence, who is
inspired by Anjali.
Inspired by me. Her outfit.
You can see.
She
look at these boots.
She's got my boots. Come on. Woo-hoo, check it out.
There's this. Look at Anjali's signature.
Yes, I learned that from my parents who were doctors who taught me to have an illegible signature. You don't want anyone forging that.
So,
all right. Yes. Follow all the people. Hugs. And all of you take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And if you are feeling lonely, if you are feeling alone in the world, please know that you would be missed if you were gone. There is someone out there who very much needs you on the planet. So reach out. The internet has people for you, friends. We're here. Other people are here. And just keep taking care of yourselves.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.